Hey everybody! Today we're going to learn about Content Aware in Photoshop. I'm going to teach you some of the features of Content Aware and some of the features that are used in CS4 and some of the features that are limited if you have CS5, so you can only use those in CS5. So let's start about talking about what Content Aware can do. This is a really new and very useful function that Photoshop has just recently put in the last two versions. The one we're going to start with is if you're using CS4 and CS5. This will be in both of them. This is called Content Aware Scale. Now first we're going to need to set this up so you guys can see what exactly it does. So let's set up a situation where we would need this fancy new plugin. What we're going to do here is I have this picture of rocks I've found, and I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this. So I'm going to duplicate this, and the copy I'm going to double click and say Content Aware Scale and hit enter. Now that I have that on the enter, what I'm going to do now is call this regular scale. Alright, now to do a free transformation in Photoshop, you guys may remember that we would go to Edit, Free Transform, or hit Command T. So what I'm going to do is hit Command T, and I'm going to scale the regular scale file inward. And what you're going to find out is, and I have to hide this eyeball here when I hit enter, is that what happened is it stretched the image here. It stretched it in. If I hit Command T again, it really distorts it and it stretches it, and you can see it pixelates it. It's not too good of a kind of scale. And what I'm going to do is actually turn on my rulers by hitting Command R, and you can also go to View Rulers, and I'm going to go ahead and just prove the point here. I'm going to put a little mark here right where I scaled it to. This is called a guideline. Guidelines are also sometimes useful when you're trying to line up things. Alright, now that I've done regular scale, what if there's a way that I could scale this but still keep the proportions of everything? Now Photoshop has kind of figured this out for us, and this is really amazing. So let's go ahead and eyeball off this layer and get to our new layer. Now our goal is to scale this down to the same exact image size as regular scale. So the first thing we're going to do is do Edit, and actually I should highlight my layer here, Edit, Content Aware Scale, and that's Option Shift Command C. There's a lot of shortcuts, so I tend to just do the long way. Now when I hit that, it looks just like free transformation, but watch what happens when I go to scale it in. And I'm not holding any special buttons. There we go. I'm going to hit enter. Now this is again available in CS4. Now that I have that, let's look at the difference between the two. Okay, this is the Content Aware Scale, and this is the normal scale. Content Aware, normal. What Content Aware has done is actually filled in the pixels for us. It's made it, it's kind of like a smart scale. It figures out what it needs to cut out and what it needs to fill in, and gives us a really great scale. This can work in both directions too. If I wanted to scale this image outward, meaning this way, and make it a longer canvas, I could do the same thing. Now there is a limitation. The more I scale it in, the more you may lose some of the pixels. But that's pretty darn good. I scaled this a good, what, 2/3 in, and really with no quality loss or visible pixel loss here. So really quite amazing. And that's Content Aware Scale. Now let me show you a few other ways to use Content Aware Scale. And for this I'm going to go ahead and go to this picture here that I have of this lady in a field of flowers. Now if I want to Content Aware Scale this one, let me double click and unlock my background and call it lady. Always name your layers. And I'm going to go ahead and do Edit Content Aware Scale. Now watch what happens. Well, you can see that it did not really work out to our liking. Our lady kind of got lost in the mix and it kind of shrunk her. So that's something we do not want to happen. Well, there is a way to fix this. Now to fix this, what I'm going to do is select this lady. So I'm going to go ahead quickly and get my pen tool and simply kind of go through the process that I talked about in the selections video. And I should probably have zoomed in here, but I'm going to be a little lazy and attempt the impossible. And I'm going to select around the area I want to protect. And this is very important. You want to protect the scalability of this lady. So we really only want a selective scale or do the content-aware scale with those flowers in the background. So give me a few moments here and I'm going to kind of just finish up my selection. It doesn't have to be perfect. I think usually when I do it, the closer I get, the better it actually is. And there we go. Now we all remember with scale, and you can see I do have a little bit of leftover, so I better get my direct selection tool here and pull some of these out. There we go. That looks pretty good. Okay. Now remember with pen tools, you'd have to go to the Paths menu. So I'm going to go to my Paths menu and I'm going to actually convert it to a selection. Now that I have that as a selection, there's one more step I need to do. You'll notice right by the Paths menu is the Channels menu. Right here. Go ahead and click on that. Now with the woman selected, go ahead and hit the Layer button. This will save the selection as a channel. And what it basically does is create an outline of the woman. Very rough one in this case, but it still works. Alright, now that I have Alpha Channel 1 selected, I can even call this Save Me, just so I know. I want to protect that Save Me file here with the lady. So let's do a content-aware scale again. So I'm going to do Edit, Content-Aware Scale. And now if I look at my option bar with all my tool options, you'll notice there is a Protect option. And under Protect now, you will see the Save Me layer. So anything you make in the Channels box, there's a Save Me layer. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that. You can also click this Protect Skin Tones button. We'll see if we need that, but we probably will not. Okay, now that I have the Save Me protected, we're going to try to scale it in. Well, did not do too well. So we have to think about it. Is that Save Me correct? Well, what if we flip it? What if we hit Command I? Okay, let's make this black and this white. So let's go back to our layer and we'll try it one more time. Content Aware Scale, let's protect Save Me, and let's pull it in. Well, there it is. Now what you can see is happening is basically it's selecting everything but the woman. So the big move there is anything you want to protect, you need to make sure is white. Everything you don't want to protect will be black in that Channels palette. And again, that's the Channels palette simply right here in Channels. So that Save Me layer, I set it to Save Me. And you can see we can get rather far in without hurting this actual lady. We can actually get almost to like her elbow without it being noticeable. So if I hit Enter here, you'll see, we'll give it a couple seconds here, voila. And now this does take obviously a lot of time because it is cramming all these pixels together, trying to fill in the blank and try to finalize those. But you can see pretty decently fast it worked. So in review, what we've done is we've made a selection, we've made a mask, we've made sure it was white. Now if it shows up the other way, you simply hit Command I, and there you have it. Now this is all usable in CS4. So in a couple seconds I'm going to boot up another image and I'm going to show you Content Aware Fill, which is only available in CS5. So give me a break and we will be right back. Now I'm back. I've reloaded my beach scene here, and what we're going to use is something that's only for CS5. Now if you don't have CS5, this is again a great reason to pick it up, or wait till CS6 comes out and pick that one up. But this is a really cool kind of fun effect to do. Now we've already used Content Aware Scale, and you'll notice Content Aware Scale is still in CS5. You will not find this next function in CS4 though. So what I'm going to do is something called Content Aware Fill. And Content Aware Fill is pretty finicky if you don't know how to use it. Basically, it almost acts like the clone stamp tool. And you'll remember the clone stamp tool is when you hold down Alt and sample an area and then paint your other areas in. So you kind of copy and paste those pixels and kind of paint them inward. Now that can get a little tedious, and as you can see the results weren't absolutely perfect. So what I'm going to do for you now is we're going to change this to Content Aware Fill. I'm going to go ahead and do this trick. Now, all you have to do is select a layer really roughly and hit Command Delete. Now, or excuse me, Shift Delete, pardon me, Shift Delete. And this, I will warn you, this only works maybe 60% of the time without the techniques I'm going to teach you. So let's see if this works. Shift Delete. You'll get the fill option where you would normally do fill, foreground, and background. We're going to use Content Aware, and all this information stays the same, and hit OK. Now, once we do that, you're going to see, in this case, it worked out beautifully. So really, really decently done. And what you'll find sometimes is it will actually take areas from the sky. I'm back here with a image I found on the internet of this old car, and just to show you the power of what this can do is I'm going to go ahead and just roughly select this image. And I'm using my lasso tool, I'm not doing anything special. And I'm going to select this car, I'm going to hold Shift Delete and make sure Content Aware is set and hit OK. And there you go. Command D to deselect, and if you didn't tell anyone, they wouldn't even think that there used to be a car there. Now let's move to our person 2. This looks pretty impossible. Well, again, using this great new CS5 only tool, I can select the lady, and after I select the lady, hit Shift Delete, do a Content Aware. This one's going to take a little longer due to all the different pixels and colors and whatnot, and the lady is gone. Now you may see here that it's picked up some of this ground image, and this is what I was talking about in the other with the beach scene. We may not want that, so let's go ahead and do Command Alt Z to go backwards. We'll do that a couple times, and let's tell Photoshop not to use this ground area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click and call this lady, and I'm going to put a mask on it. And remember, white will show up, and let me go ahead and using a black brush, I'm going to just take this out. So I want to kind of remove this, and I want to tell Photoshop, listen, don't use this when you're trying to fill in the blank. Now that I have that removed, let's see what this will do. Now we still may have some work to do with removal, but overall should be all right. All right, Shift Delete, hit OK. Give it a few seconds here, and there you go. Now you'll notice the ground has not been included. That doesn't mean it's not there, because now if I hit delete on my mask, the ground is still there, the lady's gone, it's filled in all the blanks for me, and we have a really, really nice image. So those are the new content aware features in Photoshop. Really awesome stuff. Hope you guys have enjoyed these tutorials, and I will catch you next time.